everybody, welcome to this episode of the Backspace. I'm Danny J.
I'm Nelson.
Is that pregnant pause the point where we're supposed to introduce ourselves, Dan?
I'm Danny J.
And this is where it just falls apart.
That's the point where you're supposed to go, fuck you guys.
Alright, I'm taking my space needle and I'm walking away.
Episode 30, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 30.
Episode 30.
You know, what we haven't been doing is telling everybody how to reach us.
Oh,
we
yeah.
should do that right off the top.
We should do that right off the top.
I've been saying that
like,
for a while.
like the backspace.ca, our website?
Our website is called thebackspace.ca. You can go there.
With
also,
all the social media links on the right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the email address? Email address is, ourbackspace@gmail.com? That sounds right.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Sounds good. All right.
All right, we got that over there. Oh, man.
We're also on Google+.
Yeah, Google+. Plus.
Yeah.
That's a
But
thing.
nobody cares about that. So.
We're on MySpace. Remember MySpace? No.
We have a Friendster account.
And a GeoCities page, too.
We have a GeoCities page, yes.
No, but really, if listeners want to ask us questions or whatever, just get in touch with us and we'll answer your shit on air.
We will. We're very lonely.
Very.
All right. So, should we just talk about what we've been playing this week?
That
Sure,
sounds
let's
like a
do
good idea.
All right.
Me and Dan played a little bit of Dead Rising 2 yesterday, co-op.
Yeah, that was fun.
That game was a lot of fun co-op, I gotta say. Like, I was kind of getting frustrated with it single player because there are some elements to it that kind of bother me. But when you play co-op, it's just stupid. Like, there was one point where I was running around with Groucho Marx novelty glasses and a halter top and cut off jean shorts. And
Just-
every time Dan saw me, he would start laughing.
That
So-
sounds
Just to-
awesome.
Just to make me laugh. And then I see him in the cutscenes, too. Very serious moments. And they're talking about how will they find me. And you got the big nose and the glasses.
Groucho Marx glasses with the fake nose and the
How
eyebrows.
could they
and stuff.
possibly find you?
Yeah.
Um,
How would they know it was me?
I am Guy Incognito.
That's right.
exactly.
But there's the weapons in that are ridiculous too. I mean, I showed Dan how to make a drill bucket, which is basically a bucket with a drill sticking through the bottom of it, and then you put
That's
it on zombie heads, and the noise it makes is kind of hilarious.
Does it sound like a drill in a bucket?
Yep, pretty much. And then
Nice.
there's this pop sound as their head explodes. So.
And then it falls off, and you just pick up the bucket and go
Yeah.
again.
that game, it's like a zombie game that doesn't take itself very seriously at all. I mean, you can make lightsabers out of flashlights and gems, for God's sake. I mean, it's a silly game, but it plays really well, and we were having a lot of fun with it co-op. So I'm looking forward to playing some more of that. I looked in my Steam inventory and I had a discount coupon for a game called Iron Fisticle.
And I said, is that icicle or
Testicle.
testicle?
Yeah, I'm still not sure. I
Yeah.
honestly, I've played it for a little while. I'm still not entirely certain about what that is. But Iron Fisticle is basically imagine Smash TV and Ghouls and Ghosts had a baby. And that's pretty much what it is. The weapons and sort of the atmosphere of it is kind of Ghouls and Ghosts. The room by room kind of twin stick shooter thing is straight out of Smash TV. They add in a layer of persistence over top of that. Like, you can pick up power-ups that only apply to the game you're playing right now, or power-ups that increase your character permanently. Increase things like your movement speed, your shot speed, your how long you can stay in a room before the big, ugly, nasty things that scare you out of the room come to get you. How long your power-ups last, things like that. So, as there's tons of pickups in the game. I basically picked it up for, I think it was like $6. I picked it up as something to kind of tide me over until Isaac got here. I think I've seen much, but I think I've seen pretty much everything the game has to offer in like a day and a half of playing it.
So it's not going to tide you over for the next month and a bit?
No, it won't, unfortunately. So it's a cute little game. It's got local co-op. It doesn't have online co-op, so that's kind of a strike against it. But it's got an interesting look. It has these little bonus stages that turn it into a side scroller that are kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think once I finally kind of fight my way all the way through it, I'll probably be done with that one and never pick it up again. But it's an interesting little diversion. Yeah, Dan and I also played a little bit of Saints Row the Third in co-op. We've just been kind of looking for co-op games the last couple of weeks, I think, but that was fun too. Saints Row Third still holds up, really good game. I almost picked up Saints Row 4 in the humble sale that's going on right now. It was down to $10. But
That's a good price. That's
yeah,
paid a little bit more than that for that game.
Right.
It's worth it.
Yeah, I might pick that one up if it goes down on a sale sometime in the next little while. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing Dead Rising 2. I just what you could do in that game. It's a complete open sandbox is great. I actually wish there was a sandbox mode where you weren't limited to time.
Well, technically, if you fail the main story objective, you can do that. You can just run around. Like, the game doesn't end.
Yeah, you're saying that like it'll actually keep your level. You just restart it, and that's part of the mechanic of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly, I've had to restart that game 3 or 4 times now when I've missed like major story objectives. You can keep playing after you do that, but you'll never get through the story. So you're better off just to start over again, and you keep all your skill levels and stuff like that. So.
I would find that frustrating to be, at the near the last episode that you'd have to finish, and then you fail it, and you have to go all the way back to 1.
No, you can always just reload a save too. I mean, if you save pretty close before that, you can just reload your save and you're fine.
Cool, man.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing this week. So
let's get a video of that.
Of which? A train?
No. Dead Rising 2.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll set up OBS next time we fire it up.
Sweet.
So Dan, what have you been playing?
Oh, Dan, what have I been playing?
Yes, you are Dan.
I am Dan. Dan is I.
There is no Dan, only Zool.
I am the Keymaster. I've been playing a lot of Disney Infinity. I know I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but it's just basically to get ready for a 2.0. That's what, and I've actually pre-ordered that. I am dating that, despite the fact that Game Informer and a lot of reviewers have given it 6.5 or less.
What do they know?
What do they know, honestly?
Journalism, come on.
Right? Journalism. Who can anyway? So the review that they mentioned is the fact that it's there's 3 games within the game, and it goes by really fast. But it concentrates on the Marvel universe, so for that reason, I'm looking forward to that game. Another big thing about Disney Infinity is that it caught the developers off guard by the demographics. So
30-something-year-old men.
Yeah, 25 to 40 age group has been huge for them. I mean, it makes sense, right? Because dads want to play with their kids, and this is a perfect game for them. So the big issue with the previous game is the challenge. So John Viniaki, the producer of Disney Infinity, has announced that they're expanding into third-party developers within the game. So to opening up the engine essentially for third-party, which is an interesting take on it. So,
just as a side note, John Viniaki, if you've ever watched any of Giant Bomb's E3 coverage, that guy is a wild man.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
He's insane. Like, he's just nuts. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to derail there, but you said John Vignacchi, and I just had this flash of all the crazy shit that he's done on the Giant Bomb E3 bombcast.
Yeah, he speaks his mind. Kind of an odd choice for a Disney type person, because he just says whatever, and I really like him.
Oh, come on, man! They're ramping up for Disney After Dark.
Maybe.
Well, Disney did acquire Marvel and Star Wars, so maybe they're trying to
get
adult Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be. So Studio Gobo, yeah, they're the ones who did the Pirates of the Caribbean. Said it was announced. So, and as a matter of fact, that was the highest rated playset. So it just goes to show you that
the Pirates of the Caribbean was?
Play sets are actually games within.
Okay, and those are being farmed out to third-party developers.
That's what they're saying for the next iteration.
So Disney Infinity is not so much a game as it is a framework for other people to make games in that all kind of mesh together.
Yes.
That was the latest news. Yeah, I'm jumping the news bulletin, but there's some overlap here. But yeah, they're actually creating a framework, as you said, for games development within Disney Infinity itself. So
Weird.
yeah, kind of taking a life of its own. That's good.
Basically, they're just like plugins, or DLC.
Yeah.
DLC developed by different studios that have to follow the same rules and code, basically.
Wow. Documenting that must be fun.
No doubt.
Says the software documentarian.
Yeah.
Because it all has to fit within the original game, so it's going to be interesting. So
Yeah, Brian, we're going to need a policy document on items that might be slightly phallic in this game. If you could write that for us, that'd be great.
Right, you have to stay a little bit late.
Cool. Can I get a copy of the game? No.
No, it's not in the budget. But
what else have I been playing? Champions Online. I've still been playing a little bit of that. I mentioned that last week as well. What I didn't mention was some of the awesome names that I came up with.
Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, well, actually, there's only two.
Still.
All right, Dr. Henry Killinger.
Not bad. Not bad.
Not
Isn't
bad.
that from...
I might have actually stolen that one, yeah.
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 I'm not going to call you out on the...
But you just did. The
I'm
other
sorry.
one is... I might actually... I think I stole this one from you. OMFG Ninja. It's one of my favorites.
I've heard that before.
I think that was one of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, that was definitely one of yours. I stole.
When I had champions, I made up this character who was like bug-eyed, like gray alien type with fingers hands that had like 10 fingers on each and feet that had like 10 toes.
Wait,
and he had like the big,
kind of like salad fingers?
Yeah. He had like the big bug eyes, and I had this huge cartoon mustache on him, and he was dressed in normal human clothes.
So
and I called him completely normal human. That was my superhero name. Was completely normal human. He looked like an alien, like a gray alien dressed up in human clothes, and he had psychic powers.
That's what I liked about that game. It's just you can do whatever you want. Like it has the absolute best in terms of coming up with a character.
I am completely a normal human, doing normal human things.
That's right.
Normal things.
Just like the rest of you humans. Us humans.
Yeah, no, I like that game from time to time. It gets really tedious after a while, though. Just the same old monsters, same old missions, same tropes that are really killing the MMO industry. Yeah, I wish there was a good MMO out there. There hasn't really been. Maybe one in the works from Blizzard, but we'll see. I've been playing that. I've also been playing. I finally finished The Walking Dead.
Nice.
God, that game, that game, man.
Otherwise known as every decision you make is wrong.
Yeah. Did you finish? You guys finish that one?
No, I have not.
Okay, I won't. Because it's still fairly fresh. I think I made the right decision based on the character choices that I made originally. Mm-hmm. But man, I hate that it puts you in those positions. I hate it and I love it.
They make you feel like shit afterwards.
Yeah, it really does. And poor Clementine, just that poor girl.
Little clam.
Right, little sweet pea. But yeah, I know that was good. Good game. Made me cry. God damn it. Of course, I mentioned Saints Row 2, Game Dev Tycoon. I got a little bit farther in. I've talked a hell about that game. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. What have you been playing, Nelson?
Not too much. I tried out a bit of Faster Than Light.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. That game's real hard. I got blowed up, but I was expecting that. Revisited Broforce after a long hiatus. And I'm not sure how I like the newest iteration of it. It used to be kind of really awesome, and now it's kind of not.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I mean, having played it in its original form versus now, they've changed a lot, and a lot of the changes they made I'm not really too thrilled with. They've added characters that are difficult to use, some extra mechanics and level changes and design changes that just seem strange. But oh well, that's it's what they want to do, I guess. It's their game. They can change it however they want. I mean, I paid what, $15 for it long time. No, $10 for it a long time ago, and I played the shit out of it. So
You bought
I got
me
my
a copy too.
Yeah, I got my money's worth. So, but I'll probably still jump in every now and then and give it a spin, see what it's all about. What else? Oh, right. Bleed. This is the last time I'm going to talk about it. I finally finished it. The game itself is actually pretty solid. Story, not really much of a story to speak of. The boss fights are fun. It handles pretty well. The final boss fight, on the other hand, was just a right piss off. I must have restarted that boss fight like good 30 times and then finally beat him. And then it's like, congrats, you beat the thing. And that's it. That was the end. Congrats, you beat the thing.
You beat the thing.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So, I was like, do I go back and play it some more on harder difficulties to get all the unlocks? Nah, uninstall. I don't know. That's all I've been playing. Haven't had much game time this week, so. So, want to talk about some news?
Speak of things which are new.
What's new?
You tell us.
News, boy. What news? Someone made an Xbox One into a laptop.
Huh.
Did you read about this? Did you hear about this?
No.
So they use like a high def screen, and it actually looks really cool. I'll put the link on the YouTube video. But yeah, it made it all streamlined. Looks really good. You can order from their website, which I don't have in front of me because I'm a bad news person.
Didn't somebody make like a portable screen for the original Xbox or the Xbox 360 at least?
I remember the original, like the very first Xbox had like a portable version. There was like I think there was actually a third-party peripheral that you could plug in or something like that.
Okay, I got that website here. edsjunk.net. Take a look at that.
Sounds yep.
It's neat. It looks neat. Check that out. What else news? I mean, it's kind of old news by now, but everybody's heard by now that Minecraft was bought by Microsoft.
Right.
Mojang.
But for why, I ask, and I don't know. I honestly don't know. They said that they will turn a profit by 2015.
They paid $2.5 billion for the studio, right?
Billion with a fucking B.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
meanwhile,
all
what's his
three
name
of
left?
all three of the founders actually left.
Even better.
Yeah.
So my question is, what are they getting for that? I mean, do they just get the Minecraft name at that point?
Yeah, I think they got a $2.5 billion license. But you have to remember, like, if you walk past, like, arts and craft stores or, like, comic book stores and stuff like that, they have all this Minecraft memorabilia bullshit sitting around in those stores and stuff. Hell, I even see it at, like, Target and shit now, so...
Yeah, I think that stuff is second only to, like, Angry Birds in terms of video game merchandising.
Yep.
I was just going to make that connection, too. I mean, if you could buy Angry Birds, wouldn't you? When it was relatively... I mean, it's everywhere. They got Angry Birds cereal, they got the television shows,
Right.
T-shirts, underwear.
But I think the difference is Angry Birds was never really intended as anything other than a money-making endeavor, as far as I can tell. I mean, Minecraft probably was too. Let's be honest. But I mean, it started off as kind of this sort of lighthouse for indie developers, saying you can do this yourself, kind of thing. And then and then they sell out, and it's like you can do this yourself, and then make $1.5 billion. Woo!
So you're saying it's like the clarion call for Microsoft to say, "Hey, indies, come over. Look what can happen."
Maybe.
Well,
because Sony was kind of hugely pushing the indies with PS4. So
I think this is Microsoft's way of shortcutting, like the perception that PlayStation was friendlier to the indie developers by buying one of them lock, stock, and barrel, and then kicking out the founders. I guess I don't know. It's a weird maneuver. I read that and I was like, I'm not really sure why they're doing. I mean, the popularity of Minecraft is we can take that as read at this point. Like the popularity of that license is insane. They have conventions for Minecraft, and it's like little kids play it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then the spin-off ones, the illegal ones that are, charging people exorbitant of monies and canceling after. I mean,
Just kidding. No refunds.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing just seems a little. No, it's a strange acquisition for me. It's
Yeah.
not one of those ones that I read and I went, yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, even the kind of the Facebook Oculus thing made more sense to me than this one does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with this. I mean, does this mean that future versions of Minecraft are going to be like Xbox specific?
Oh man.
Probably.
Maybe.
Are they going to put out like Minecraft 2? They're going to hand off like Minecraft 2 to like one of their pet developer studios or something like that, and say build us Minecraft 2, and then it'll be some lockdown, free to play, microtransaction-y weird thing.
They'll have to remove it away from Java. I mean, that's first and foremost. They hate Java, don't they? Hate Java. I mean,
Microsoft.
Yeah.
There's not a good relationship. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I hate Java too. So
yeah, it sucks.
yeah. So there's something good out of it, I guess. I think it's interesting news. I think it's it was definitely a shock to everybody. For sure. And really, the question is still not answered: is why exactly they did it, and it's not something that even Microsoft. Maybe it's their way of trying to be hip, be trendy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it kind of smacks of buying credibility at this point.
Yeah, which they lack, and even in the stuff that they had good credibility, they don't know how to preserve that. Like,
but you got to admit they did it with style, though. $2.5 billion worth of credibility. That's.
Yeah, and then Notch goes on the same day onto Reddit with a post that says, "What would you do with $1.5 billion?" Because, he owns 70% stake in the. Yeah, so he has
that seems like kind of a douchey thing to do. I mean, I don't really have a good finger on the pulse of Notch and what makes him tick, but to go on Reddit and say, "I got $1.5 million, bitches, suck it," it's kind of like.
That sounds like something Phil Fish would do.
Funny that you would say that, actually.
Yeah, that's an interesting segue.
Yeah. Notch, what was it you were saying, Dan? Notch said that one of his inspirations for taking this deal was Phil Fish.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting connection there.
What's the context of that? Is he saying that Phil Fish basically got into indie development to try and sell out for as big as possible?
I think Phil Fish was always going on about how indie first. He'll never cave, and
right.
And the whole thing reason with Fez 2 being canceled is because he's not gonna cave to the man.
Right.
And I think that's where he's drawing the lines. I don't know. I was really drunk when I read that article, so he got me.
Yeah, odds are. So. So anyways, $2.5 billion transferred from Microsoft to the good people of Mojang. Most of that money is going into Notch's pocket, as he was the majority stakeholder in that endeavor. What this means for the future of Minecraft and Notch's future game development efforts, nobody really knows at this point. I assume they're getting whatever game he was working on, that Scrolls game.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. The one where he went into legal issues with Elder Scrolls.
Bethesda, yeah. That was just intellectual property bullshit. That's just the lawyers making work for themselves. I never really thought that was all that significant.
Didn't he have one called Horse? A proof of concept, something horse.
I don't know. I looked at Mojang when this news came out, and they have 3 games to their credit. Scrolls is one of them. Minecraft is the other, and there was some really weird early like Flash prototype thing that might be what you're talking about. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So yeah, 3 games, $2.5 billion later.
God, what are we doing wrong, guys?
Not making games. Not making virtual Lego sets for prepubescent teenagers.
That's just it. Yeah, that's just it. Well, that's all the news I have.
Okay. I guess I'll talk about the story that I wanted to talk about. That is, Double Fine is having some issues with the early access system on Steam.
Huh?
Double Fine released a game a while back in early access called Space Base DF9.
Oh yeah, that game looks really good.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was in early access, which means it was playable alpha. It got infrequent updates. People were quite upset about the game not really working that well. And they pretty much unceremoniously last week decided that it was going from early access to a final release, completely skipping the beta stage and receiving no further development.
Whoa.
So it was kickstarted, it went on to early access. A lot of people who contributed to this are quite pissed because there are apparently a lot of outstanding issues with the game that they've flat out said are not going to get fixed at this point. Tim Schafer has actually written a letter explaining addressing the controversy over going to 1.0 straight from alpha. He says, in traditional development, beta refers to a time when no new features are added but bugs are fixed. Things are different in early access when the game is in players' hands at an early state, so the team has been fixing bugs all along as features are added. In the remaining dev time, there will both be bug fixes and new features, so it's true, calling it a beta is a little inaccurate, but the amount of time fixing bugs is comparable to that of a traditionally developed game. So what he's basically saying here as a kind of an explanation for this is that beta was smashed into alpha.
Okay.
And we're going straight to release version.
Sounds like they're using an agile software development lifecycle.
Yeah. Next question is, I thought you said you weren't going to silently pull the plug. His response to that is, we are not silently pulling the plug. We are announcing our finishing features and our V1.0 plan. We know it's not a lot of advanced notes, but we're still here telling you our plan instead of vanishing quietly into the night. So basically, he cites a lot of things like the game not getting the amount of interest that they were hoping for. He claims he says, right, there's a mea culpa at the end of this. He says, we have stumbled awkwardly through some new territory with this game, and in terms of early access communication, we fell short.
Clearly.
We are still proud of this game, and in the end, we are happy to have it on the roster of Double Fine titles. And a lot of people are calling bullshit on this. They're saying that the game was unceremoniously dumped after being kickstarted. They said that they had a commitment to finish this game, and they are neglecting that commitment. A lot of developers are coming out and saying this is the reason why early access is kind of a doomed model, because it's being used improperly at this point. It's being used for major titles, not garage development teams. It's being used for major studios where their development model doesn't fit into what's going on with this. So, I don't know if this is a coincidence, but at the same time, basically what happened was, where is it here? Kickstarter has actually released an update, which basically, let me just dig up this one so I don't sound...
Their terms of service?
Their terms of service have actually changed. So they're including a provision now.
Yeah, I recall getting a terms of service email from Kickstarter like yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
Never read it though, because
their terms of service have actually changed to make sure that if you actually commit to funding the project with the money you get from Kickstarter, that you deliver some product and you deliver the whatchamacallit,
your deliverables, your key
deliverables. Yeah, your the bonuses that people have signed up for.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's kind of what's been going on with Double Fine. It sucks because Double Fine is a good studio, and I kind of like Tim Schafer, but a lot of people are saying this is kind of par for the course with Tim Schafer. He's been good at the imaginative side of things, but never with the time management and budgeting side of things.
Yeah, I concur with that. I mean, what was it one with Jack Black voiced?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking over at my shelf of games here. Brutal Legend.
Brutal Legend was one of them. It was promised everything. It tried to do everything, and they stuck a top-down, RTS in there. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That was not
it wasn't so much that. It was the first half of the game was an open world rock and roll based game, and then it pivots. It pivots quite abruptly in the last third to be you're going to be playing a real time strategy for the rest of this game.
That was not what I signed up for. And,
I just wanted to play the rock and roll the rock and roll open world game that I was playing before. That was kind of cool.
It was really cool. Yeah. And the other thing too about this early access, all the reward, none of the risk. So they were making a ton of money, charging pretty much full price for a game that wasn't completed.
Yeah.
And then they found out that this wasn't really getting the traction they feel they should get, so we're going to drop it because to release it, commit to a full game is not going to be worth it.
Yeah, they're saying they're not dropping it. They're saying they're releasing it, right? It's like the old adage, right? Software never gets finished. Or software is never finished. It escapes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it was poorly managed. I don't think this is one of Double Fine's more well-loved franchises, but it definitely shows some cracks in the kind of the early access model and how it can be sort of mishandled.
Huh.
Yeah.
That
Clearly.
sucks.
And it's really too bad because that game looked amazing, at least in.
There was a lot of promise, yeah, but from what I read on it, I almost bought it right when it came out, but I'm glad I didn't at this point because apparently it's pretty broken. So
I was actually going to wait for the final for committing to it, but yeah, it was almost.
Well, it's here.
Yeah, yeah, nope,
Nah.
that's too bad.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like Double Fine doesn't have other irons in the fire. They've got Broken Age, they've got The Cave. I think there's a sequel to Costume Quest coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, Costume Quest was awesome.
Yeah, and they have really successful stuff in the past. I mean, the what was that one that we played with the mechs, the World War I mechs?
Oh yeah, Iron
Heavy something? No. Iron Brigade. Iron Brigade.
Yeah.
That got changed from something else, didn't it? It was
Yeah,
Trench,
for a long time.
Trench something? Trench
Trenchmeisters or something.
I can't even remember.
It was a weird name like that.
Trenched. Wasn't it just Trenched?
Trenched.
Yeah.
You're right.
The Mobile Trench Brigade.
Mhm.
Yeah. We should actually play that again. That game was fun.
Yeah, it was. It really graphically did a number on my system. It wasn't totally optimized, but yeah, it was fun. It's a lot of fun.
What else do we want to talk about here? So yeah, Double Fine having difficulty with space-based DF9. New Oculus Rift prototype. Crescent Bay. Integrated audio and 360-degree tracking involved in this one. So yeah, that kind of ties back into our last week's topic. They're still pushing forward with this stuff. So get your head ready for 3D, man, or for virtual reality, because you're gonna be wearing your games on your face pretty soon.
You can virtually stalk your ex-girlfriend's Facebook page. The Oculus Rift.
Oh
To
dear.
add to the creepiness. And in case anybody was not aware, at this point, Facebook owns Oculus Rift.
That's the joke.
That is thejoke.com. See, when you explain the joke, it's so much more funny.
Okay, I think that ties it up for news.
Bye, news.
Bye,
You were
news.
fun.
Yeah, we enjoyed you. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Nelson?
No, I didn't want to talk about how Destiny already got hacked.
Really?
Yeah.
What? No,
Oh.
that's news. That is news to me.
Yeah, that's definitely news.
It's just more of an exploit than a hack. It's funny how they use the word hack as exploit. Some folks already figured out how to play with the game's mechanics in such a way that gave them unlimited ammunition.
Oh, I've seen some screenshots of that. Yeah.
Yeah. However, that little glitch, as we can call it, didn't make it into the Crucible, which is kind of like the PvP multiplayer part of it. So, not really that big of a deal. If you could have unlimited ammo in the Crucible, that would basically be like, hitting the God mode button to a degree.
Right.
But yeah. So they're expecting. There's probably, now that this has been announced, there's probably going to be more people going, well, shit, if I can hack that, I can hack all the other things and stuff. So stay tuned for more potential exploits and breaks in Destiny.
Like Jennifer Lawrence's cell phone.
Yeah.
Boy.
Destiny, the game that some people might still be playing.
Some people have gotten enjoyment out of that game.
Interesting how the reviews on that game kind of either some people just love it, other people hate it. There's kind of not really a middle ground.
Yeah, it is pretty divisive. Yeah, a lot of people have been waiting a really long time for that game, though.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know. It's
So it
funny
kinda
how
makes sense.
the dev studio doesn't even really know what the game is yet. when you get to that point, it's like, well,
Yeah.
Like, you look at the
shouldn't have released
commercials.
it?
No, I mean it had to be released. But you look at the commercials for it, like it's all that witty banter and the rock and roll music.
Yeah, the first commercials for that were weird too.
What?
They kind of pitched it as more of an MMO. It looked like it had some very strong class definitions.
Well,
Mhm.
it kind
You
of
know,
is
like-
an MMO, basically.
Yeah, but they've toned a lot of that down. It's basically just everybody's gun McShooty guy, and some classes do, something a little bit better than the other ones. The old, like the really really old trailers for that game, it looked like you were going to have people whose sole job was like holding a shield up in front of them and trying not to get shot and stuff like that. And it looked like it was going to be like a very like it looked like they were going for kind of the holy trinity of MMOs in
Yeah.
shooter format. Like DPS, tank, healer, in sort of a shooter format. But they toned that back quite a bit
Oh
from
well,
what I've heard. So
Destiny's not a game I'll ever play, so who the fuck cares?
yeah, PC gaming master race for life. Yeah.
I don't know. Even if it did come out for PC, again, the cheap bastard in me would say, if it was $10, yeah, I'd probably try it. Otherwise, nah.
If it was free to play, I would play it.
First 30 days free. Yeah, all right. Let's see what this is about. Yeah, this is
wait for it.
boring.
Wait
Yeah.
for it. Actually, it's on console, so it'll never be truly free to play.
No.
You'll always have to buy a disc. All right. Do we
Yep.
want to go to our topic, such as it is this week?
The topic?
We have a topic, don't we?
Topic of the day? Of the week?
Topic
Yes.
of the week.
The second fall of the video game industry.
Oh dear.
Or the potential second fall of the video game industry.
All right. All right. Sky is falling. Chicken Little. Okay, no. I'm all ears. I am open. Mold me into why the industry is going to be collapsing as we know it.
Let's start
Well-
with Brian.
Yeah, because I'm old, and I remember the first crash of the video game industry.
Yeah.
You were alive for that.
I was. I was part of the video game public at that point. I had a ColecoVision,
Yeah.
and shit went bad, yo.
I wasn't even
But-
allowed in the arcades at that age.
Basically, in the early '80s, Atari was like the main player when it came to home video gaming consoles, and there was
Mhm.
the profitability of that model led to there being a lot of shovelware on on the Atari 2600, which led to an erosion of customer confidence, which led to a lot of people not bothering to buy video games anymore. They were being produced faster than they could be consumed. The most telling example of this was the E.T. game that came out in 1983, a 2-week developed video game that was rushed to the stores to try and get there in time for the launch of the E.T. movie.
Then the oversaturation of the console market as well. Like everybody
Right.
had to have their own Atari derivative.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
Sears
was
version.
There was a
so on and
bunch
so
of that stuff, and it led to an erosion of customer confidence. Thousands of cartridges were buried in a Nevada landfill, or was it New Mexico? I can't remember which one. Anyways, the rest is history. Atari bit the big one, became a shell of its former self. Never attained the heights that they did during the heights of the video game craze in the early '80s.
Right.
And the company that we have now that's called Atari is not really anything even close to the company that was pushing boundaries and kind of leading the industry the way it was before.
It's just a name now.
Right. The upshot of that is Nintendo actually had to name their next console the Nintendo Entertainment System to try and distance it from video games at that point to make it, make it gain some kind of acceptance, right? So when you look at that, what led to that? Dilution.
Greed.
Greed, yeah. Dilution of the products in the marketplace, erosion of customer confidence. Nobody really knew how to figure out what was a good game and what was a bad game because these things have always been expensive. Even when Atari cartridges were coming out, they were $50 a piece. And if you play an Atari game on an emulator these days, realize that back in the day, people were paying $50 to $60 a pop to play that on their CRT console televisions with the elaborate wooden scroll work all around it and stuff.
And the modern day equivalent of that pricing is around what, $250 a game?
Yeah, it was significant. I mean, I remember working at a gas station when I was 16 years old and saving up to buy games and stuff like that for like the Sega Master System that I had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was significant. So why do we feel? Let's talk about why we feel we might be approaching that point again.
Oh, and back in those days, the only information you could get about those new games coming out was from the press releases from the companies that made them, instead of having quote unquote journalists telling you if the game was any good or not.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, video game reviews have always been an arm of the video game PR machine. I mean, very early they co-opted that. So, but we'll talk about that as we get a little further into this. So, we're entering kind of an age now where Steam, the Apple Store, various online distribution methods are
Amazon.
they're getting clogged with a lot of kind of Me Too games. The rise of the indie game has meant that anybody with a little bit of knowledge and the gumption to get up and do it can make their own game. The marketplace is getting flooded. There's a lot of product out there, and it's not being very well curated at this point. So
Steam effectively gave up.
Yeah.
At some point, they just opened the floodgates and just let it all through. They just you know what? Forget it. We don't have time for this. Just everyone, it's fine. And
basically, there's been a flood of old games that have been re-released. A lot of shovelware, a lot of stuff that people just, there are entire companies that are out there buying up obscure old Amiga games and stuff like that and putting them out on Steam. And that's their entire business model. They're trying to trick people into paying $5 for some game that they might have nostalgia for or something like that. The rise of free to play and the microtransaction model is definitely a big part of this too.
Early access model.
Yeah, early access. You can point a finger at that and say that this is diluting the marketplace. It's leading to customers, not really uninformed customers, getting burned and being very vocal about about these games that like in the case of space-based DF9, it's never going to recover from the kind of negative press it's received. There's a bunch of games you can point the finger at like that too,
which also ties into the crowdfunding model.
Yeah. So I mean, and plus there's no real, as Gamergate has shown us, there's no real trust in the press for this industry either. There's no real ethics. There's no real sort of codified set of principles that the industry is living by, and the sites like Giant Bomb are an attempt at that. Like Jeff Gerstmann set out with a very clear intention of trying to bring some legitimacy to games journalism, but by and large, that has not been adopted by the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they're not in it to make money, but how many times that Jeff Gerstmann has to go on and says, "Hi, please buy the Giant Bomb Advanced. It's $10 a month." So the model isn't working very well.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't appear.
Whereas those journalists that don't necessarily have to cater to higher standards are right. Yeah. So.
What? Did I say something? I'm sorry.
Clickbait.
Nigerian.
Game Informer.
Got something in my throat here. Yeah, but
Destructoid.
Yeah, they're bad too.
They are bad too.
Even worse now.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you guys think of this? I mean, there's a lot of confusion as to what actually is a good game. I think YouTube is kind of adding to this as well. You can put up a sizzle reel on YouTube and show the best parts of your game and get people excited for it. And then when the game actually releases, people end up being disillusioned by this kind of stuff.
Now, do you think, I don't know, do you think this could actually lead to a quote-unquote second coming or second crash to the video game industry as a whole?
Well, let me put it this way. Let me just add, because I will still buy games. I still want to play video games. But if the game does not appeal to me, there's nothing in it for me, I won't play it.
But how do you know?
Well, that's just it. How do you know, right?
Yeah.
So I know by either playing a demo or going to Giant Bomb. Those are the places that I go to trust. Right?
Yeah, you develop a certain trust level with certain outlets that you do trust, and yeah, you can trust. You can go to them and basically make your decisions based on what they recommend. You find people that have the same kind of tastes as you on YouTube and stuff like that, and you kind of rely on the coverage that they have, but. Every one of those, like you look at the YouTube stuff, every YouTube personality out there is basically just one large check away from selling out. Most of these guys are doing it for the love of it. They're not, they're doing it, for the love of it. But if you wave enough cash at them, they're probably going to say whatever you want.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, say for example, we just do it purely.
Yeah, we all have day jobs. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not. We're not in any way compensated for anything that we do. We buy all our own games.
Of course, that's to say if we were offered a bunch of money to say nice about games, would we? I don't know.
I don't. I'd like to think I wouldn't.
So. I don't think so. I mean,
especially if it's a really bad game.
If I was offered a bunch of money to review a game, I'd like to think that I would still be honest about it, and they might not be terribly happy with what I had to say about it. But whatever.
If this was my livelihood and I had mouths to feed, I probably who's to say what you wouldn't do, right?
Oh, if this was my only job, yeah, fuck yeah, I'd be like, give me the money, thanks. But
so
my corgi needs food.
He's a hungry.
I don't know. Like, I don't really consider myself a reviewer. I don't really consider myself a journalist. I'm probably more on the lines of a critic.
We're enthusiasts.
Enthusiastic critic.
Smith.
But yeah, I don't know. Like do you think the whole industry itself will crash? I doubt it. Because people will still always pine for entertainment and games to play, and even if it's shit, people will still play shit. I mean, look at Fez. Look at Minecraft.
Hey, I own Fez.
Yeah, so do I. I also paid for Minecraft back in the day. But how many people, will play a game that is intrinsically not all that great, but they'll sink hours and hours and hours and hours into it?
Well, it just answers some of those little needs that we have, especially Minecraft, creativity, the openness of it all.
We should point out. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, Dan, but we should point out that we're not actually saying that a second video game crash is imminent or anything like that. It's not going to happen in the next little while. But some of the sort of warning signs are starting to pop up, and some people are starting to get nervous about this kind of thing.
Okay. Well, what saved the last the last crash, right? It was a shift from North America to Japan. And we really don't want a whole bunch of fucking JRPGs out there, do we?
Dear God, no.
Some people do probably, but not us.
Man. Final Fantasy VII is the exception, but
some JRPGs are fun. Some, and I'm talking like a few, but it's really weird because I was listening to the guys on Rage Select, and it seems like they've got a whole pile of games for a series that they do, and it seems like there's a whole glut of JRPGs now, and they're like, ugh, another one? But yeah, I don't know. Especially with the whole Gamergate thing coming around, and
it came at a bad time, definitely, yeah.
And Zoegate and all that crap, and people are losing faith in journalism. It's like, as a consumer, not specifically for games, but as a consumer in general, if someone walks up to you when you're looking to buy a car and says, "Hey, this car's really good, you should buy it," are you just gonna go, "Oh, okay," and buy the?
You make an interesting point.
or are you actually gonna take some time and do your research and find as many sources of information as you can before you spend your hard-earned bucks on the thing?
Yeah, if it's a first AAA title or first tier title, then yeah, I will do that.
Wow.
If it's a $5 game, I don't know who gives a shit.
it's like a Porsche versus like a Dodge Neon or something like that. They're both cars.
Yeah.
They both have engines and get you from point A to point B. Is one made better than the other? Yeah, probably. Is one cheaper than the other? Yes. But they both fulfill the same requirement. Four wheels, the steering wheel, an engine, requires gasoline.
Which one of those is fun, though?
Exactly. That's the same thing with games. But people for example, again, car manufacturers are just going to keep pumping out different types of cars of different grades and qualities and blah 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 blah. Some are going to ask more money for pieces of shit than others.
Yeah. Because I determine, did I get X amount of fun for my dollar? And that can sometimes it's like in the case of Sims, not very much. I mean, I paid $80 Canadian when all said and done, and I'm pretty much done with that fucking game.
It could still work though, because shitbox cars can be a lot of fun.
Right.
I remember the Geo Metro back in junior high school, driving one of those around, beating the shit out of it, and having the time of my life.
Yeah.
Revving the engine until you get harmonics.
Yeah, basically.
Backfire, scare everybody.
Yeah. But I don't know. The whole video game industry thing is pretty much just fucked. But as long as they keep making games, and as long as people keep making YouTube videos of gameplay, which is basically the core way in which I decide to myself if I'm going to spend money on a game or not, is I have to see the finished product being played. Sure, it may spoil a bit of it for me, but
Like on Twitch?
Twitch, YouTube, doesn't really matter. Just some way where I can see what the game looks like and what it handles like, and if I get interested enough in what I'm watching, I'll probably buy it. Even though a lot of people might hate the game, I might particularly find it fun, and vice versa. So
Yeah. So, what can we do about this, basically?
oh
How
man,
can we avoid this?
I don't know. I guess
it kind of falls to consumers. A lot of it, I mean, in terms of the people who are buying the games, you have to support the projects that you feel are worth your money. You have to basically make an effort to inform yourself about the games that you want to support, and try to avoid the Steam sale thing of just buying a shit ton of games that you think you might like just because they're $1.50 each.
but that's what we do.
I know.
we do that a lot, and
I
we're
know.
not. We're part
I
of
know.
the problem.
We kind of are.
part of the problem.
But I don't
Totally
think I don't think like flooding, like when you flooded the market back. I'm sorry. I know we were trying to wrap up this topic, but
Mhm.
when you flooded the market with game, you literally flooded the shelves with games. Like you could not even determine one game from the other. The only way you could purchase a game was by the cover or whatever's on the back. Nowadays,
3 pictures on the back. Yeah.
nowadays like it's there's safeguards inherent with it
Yeah.
because it's all digital, and that being said, it's really hard to navigate games in Steam now.
Yeah.
Because
Oh God.
Yeah.
Steam needs to change. Steam really needs to change. Like
Yeah.
there needs to be some better way to find the games that you might be interested in. So
Right.
They also have to have better filtering because when you go look through the new releases, it doesn't give you the option to filter out the applications. It just puts it all in there.
yeah, there's problems. There's problems with Steam, and that is part of the problem. Honestly, I don't think the game industry is in any imminent fear of collapse.
No.
But there has to be some effort from us. We can't just be consume, and keep the blinders on. There has to be some sort of effort on our part. And how do we do that? Is it just because of we got to talk to each other? We got to keep the channels open.
keep the lines of communication open. Make sure that you support the things that you think are worth supporting.
Yeah.
And build up a kind of a group of sources that you trust for opinions on this kind of stuff. That's really all you can do.
Yeah, and hopefully those trusted people are have your best interests at heart.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's up to you. Obviously, you got to
At
make
the
that
end
call.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's caveat emptor, right? It's
Right.
buyer beware. You gotta make the decision to inform yourself about stuff like this. So,
Yeah,
and it will lead to a healthier industry as a whole.
absolutely. Okay, well, that's it for this week. I'm Danny J.
I'm just Brian.
You're
Freaked
just
out.
Brian.
I'm freaked out.
You're freaked out. I'm freaked out.
Yeah, I'm freaked out.
All right, and if you want to talk to us again, just write to us at our Backspace, tweet us at our Backspace rather, and go to thebackspace.com. We got a blog there.
Backspace.ca.
.ca. Oh my god, I'm terrible at this. And just write to us. We like letters. We will write back. Definitely
Yes,
write back.
all the letters. We
All
don't-
of them.
Don't discriminate.
No, including that weird upside down umlaut that people are talking about these days.
Mm.
Mhm.
Schwa?
Schwa. Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This cake looks good.
Gray area in terms of legality, but
No, it's
What-
not.
so I'm gonna be able to record
It's fine.
from my when I'm playing.
This is me winking at you.
Yeah,
Wink, wink.
got it. Subtle.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't heard of it, and it's an MMO. What
it's
the
a
fuck?
free-to-play MMO.
Is it one of those South Korean ones?
I think so. Yeah.
It looks like a South Korean one. But how can it go bad when it's a free to play game, really?
Yeah, I've been eating a lot of not good food lately, and it's been getting its revenge. How about Dan? How you sounding, Dan?
I sound delicious.
Yeah, you do. You do. Brian sounds like Whisper.
Yeah, she's looking right at me. She's looking right at me as she's taking a piss on my carpet.
It's like that scene from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. May I go to the bathroom? Yes. News point.
News point. News point.
New Oculus Rift prototype?